Okay, family. We're gonna go ahead and get started. So, Most High in Christ bless everybody. Thank you. Okay. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High for giving us the spirit to come here and fellowship, keep the commandments. What this will is. So, give all praises and glory and infinite honors unto the Most High. So we're gonna go back to our lesson concerning Esther and the Feast of Purim, where Israelites were celebrating the delivery from being purged and totally destroyed. So we're going to go to Book of Esther. Yeah, chapter 8. I'll start the first verse. On that day did the king, so at this point, Haman, the enemy of the Jews, were hanged. The very same thing that he had despised or he had conspired to try and get Mordecai, a man of the Most High, it fell upon him. I think I was going to get the link, but I'll just requote it. It's in Proverbs 26 and 27. Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein. And he that rolleth the stone, it shall return unto him. So we got to be careful with the life that we live. So Haman is dead. So chapter 8, verse 1. And that day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemy, unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews. So he was dead, but what was left floating out there? All those letters. Gotta be here. All those letters that they sent to all those cities and towns they call provinces. So people had hyped themselves up. They probably went and stocked up and got munitions and everything where they're gonna go, and they're going to try and do what they're gonna do. You see. So Esther, with tears in her spirit, in her eyes, she asked him to do something about that. So one thing that is hard to do is hard to control a mob. See, remember how the story in 70 AD, how the Roman soldiers were uncontrollable, and Vespasian, he couldn't tell them to stop. Him and his captains, they couldn't control the men because they had that thirst. Yeah. So I believe that it may have been like that. Even though the killing didn't start, they wanted it to start. You see, so Esther spake again. So this is the book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 1, verse 3. Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had despised or devised against the Jews. Then the king held out the golden scepter towards Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king, and said, If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews which are in all the king's provinces. So that segment right there, it tells you that kings can add and take away laws at their will, at their own pleasure, based upon how they feel. Right? Okay. So they have an opportunity to do what they want to do. If they want to do good, they can do good. If they want to do bad, they can do bad. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come upon my people, or how shall I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews. Write ye also for the Jews as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring may no man reverse. So that's official seal. Nations right now today, they still use seals to show that a document is authentic. It's a seal. Like then there was this ring. Verse 9. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the third month, that is, the month Sivan, and in the 23rd day thereof. And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded the Jews, and to the lieutenants, and to the deputies and rulers of the provinces which are in India and Ethiopia, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing, and according to their language. So I had to tell the people in their language to stop. Verse 10. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post and horseback. So remember, it can say whatever it is they wanted it to say. And so if somebody was to avenge, or if somebody was to move forward and do something, what do you think they was going to get? Jail time, lifetime, or get their stuff taken? Yeah, it's punishable by death. That's what happened with Haman. So that's the judgment. That would have been the consequences for him. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Verse 10. And he wrote in King Ahasuerus' name, sealed it with his ring, sent by post to horseback, riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries. Wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and caused to perish. So they were to come together. So it was strength in numbers, don't get caught by yourself type of thing, but come together. And if somebody gets out of line, then go ahead and eliminate them so that they could know that you weren't playing. And because even then, they would be coming, getting in groups and stuff like that. On this side of the Atlantic Ocean, it's called a lynch mob, a mob where everybody is getting in on what they felt would be a party. But it was a killing party. And all the power of the people and the province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. So they even had the permission to take the stuff. What many would call probably today, rob them or something. But, excuse me, it wouldn't be a robbery. They shouldn't have approached them like that. So if you didn't want to get your stuff taken and you didn't want to get killed, then you wouldn't step out of line. You would go right back to how things were. But that did something from the Most High to Israel. What do you think that did? From the Most High to Israel. From the Most High to Israel. I'll give you a hint so we can go in the same direction. Concerning knowledge. The Most High gave them the knowledge of something. What you think that was? Go to Sirach chapter 12. Sirach chapter 12, verse 8. It says, a friend cannot be known in prosperity. Why is that? A friend cannot be known in prosperity. Why is that?
It's because everybody be happy at good times.
Right. You're setting it out. But here's our part. And an enemy cannot be hidden in adversity. When you're going through something, whoever ain't down for you for real, it's going to show. They're going to show up and they're going to show out in your adversity. So the Most High, through the Spirit, Israel was now able to see in the community and the cities who hated them. When that decree was known and Israel was under the pressure, who acted funny? Who turned on you? It's like that now. Open your eyes. You go through something, who's on your side? Who's for you? Who's against you? And that'll tell you. These are the facts of life. Hey, man, I grew up in a generation, it was rough. When I say it was rough, I mean I was a little kid too. Being an older adult now, I could call myself a little kid, 14, 15 years old, 16 years old. Now, I grew up in a generation where friends killed friends, man. Of course, they was older than me, but they would betray each other for the smallest things. Greed. Satan would get to them. I guess they didn't know that it was Satan. And I can't even blame it on oppression. We didn't even know what oppression was. Everything was the same. according to them, we weren't oppressed. Even though being an adult now, I know we were. But how we living now is oppression. It's straight up warfare on every level: psychological, our food, water, contaminated water, the air we breathe, medicines, all different type of stuff. Maybe the difference is that now we are aware, we know. I don't know, but I came up in the era, man, to where it was it could get kind. It was tough. It was good, but it was tough. And the thing that we talking about now, betrayal, I would I would hear about it. People being friends, and they used to call it knock. Such and such, it got knocked. Like, I give you an example, right? Generation up under me. My younger brother, I think he's probably 5 years younger than I am, and I was that. And he had this set of friends, and they all looked up to me, but I always, admired all of them, because they was what we call back in the day thick as thieves. So it was a set of twins. The damn twins killed their friend called Boxcar. Now everybody loved Boxcar, or everybody loved all of them. Eric and Derek. One of them killed Box. I'm like, what is this? And they were all cool. You cannot figure, you cannot reason or understand the logic on the motion of a serpent. So you literally had to watch who you called your friend. I learned valuable lessons. I've been betrayed by friends before. So much betrayal is crazy. God be your best friend, and next thing you know, he's trying to kill you, or he wants to kill you, or he's jealous over this, or he's jealous over that. That's how it is. But go through something and you'll see. All right, so let's lose that. We'll go back to the book of Esther. You don't make yourself vulnerable because you keep the commandments. Still be smart. Wise as a serpent. Remember how Yahweh said, Judas, betrayest thou me with a kiss? Huh? Betrayest thou me with a kiss? All right. All right. So where do we stop at? 8 and verse 11. The king granted the Jews, oh, so they were to take the spoil of the prey, verse 12, upon one day in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar. A copy of the writings for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. So they should be able to see who the enemies were. That was the moral of the story, right? Not to have you guys in your brain and stuff, but for that the Most High did it, because then he did it. He's in control of everything, so he allowed it to happen, and then he took it back away. Check this out. The Lord does everything. He does still things in this earth now. Like, say, for instance, us, right? Us living throughout the four corners of the world. So those of us that are awake, we already got it into our mind what we think and how we feel about the environment and the society that we live in, right? Okay, so I'm trying to use a choice of better words. But Israel, they can't really see how the society and the environment that they live in really feel about them until something happens, and or they don't get their way. And once they don't get their way and something happens, they crowd unto the Most High, and then they be seeking a return and they want help from the Most High. And the Most High is like, listen, now go to the book of Isaiah chapter 30. So people on all levels are going through this thing here. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1. I'll start there. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord. So while they're not like-minded like a lot of awakened brothers and sisters, they're not like-minded like, a lot of conscious Israelites that are keeping the Most High's commandments. Israel is out being rebellious, right? Then it says that take counsel, but not of me. So they believe, so the counsel is they believe in how the society is going to sustain them. That's the counsel. Because many people feel and think we're in Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. Many people think that the only thing that they need to do to live, prosper, and get ahead is to get a job. Well, that's not true. If you want to be successful and get ahead in life, the first and number one thing you got to do is you got to serve the Most High God. You got to learn about the Most High God. And you got to learn about Him according to knowledge, according to the scriptures. I wish I could share, but I run into a brother the other day. This brother, man, let's see if I can share with him what's one of these. Won't be able to. What people call up, he seems to have the worst of it. He's got a bad hand. If this was a day, if we were playing spades, he's got all low hearts. He's not going to get a book. His whole family is deceased. It's been dying year after year after year. He said, I'm all alone. I have nobody. I have nothing. He said he had been homeless. He's working in a low-paying job. He said his check is not even enough to pay rent. I get that. You're right. But that's how he looks at it, man. So I'm trying to describe a narrative. So I said, well, maybe this is, you have me. I said, take my number. I said, let's build. I said, I'll help you. I said, let's start from here. So I started talking to him about the Most High. I was calling him God because he relates to something like that, And he had very little faint faith. He know God is real, but he said God ain't here around with me because all of these things happen. I said all those things did happen. And I believe that your knowledge of God, so you got to try and understand why these things happen. I said, but you're here. He was like, I don't want to be here. There's even no fun. I'm by myself. I said, well, you know what? I'm a person of faith and I'm very optimistic. I said, my job is to show you a different perspective. And your knowledge of God is not based upon the knowledge of the scriptures. And when I said that, He said he's read before. I said, you remind me of Job. Job lost everything. You can read that book. He said, I read the Bible before. I said, okay. But even with that being said, how you feel and what you know is not according to the scripture. So you can line up what you know and get information from the scriptures, then that can bring you closer and you will begin to, get some type of understanding about what you should do and how to carry on. Said the Lord man will give you fathers and mothers and brothers and sisters and uncles and nephews and nieces. The Lord will give you a family and also show you why he did the thing that he did. There's no end to the people. When people leave here, it's not over. And that's as far as we can go. I can't say where they are and where they ain't because it's up to us. We all think that we can call down the judgment of where somebody is. How many people that was standing on the ground under those three men that was on the cross, including the Messiah, saying they all going to hell? When Christ said, you're going to be with me in paradise. But those that are 50 feet or however feet down beneath on the ground, they didn't know what the heck they was talking about. All they know is they come into condemnation. And they ain't going nowhere nice. Ain't nothing good coming from them. You see, that would be us. I've learned to stop, well, stop thinking, but stop assuming and work out my salvation from day to day. Because as long as we got the light of day, I pointed outside to him. We were in a building. I said, you see that? You ain't in the grave. There's a chance. I said, I'm going to help you, man. You dig? I'm going to help you. And I am. I'm going to try if he'll receive it. But, so the point is that people don't reach back out into the Most High until the system fails them. And the system do fail. You don't get your way. Can't get a job. The price of tea is too much. Don't have credit. You got denied. All different type of things happen to you because you wouldn't obey and be obedient, but you trusted in this system, and the system let you down. The Lord, that's by design. The Lord said, I will go and return into my place until you what? Until you acknowledge. Because without the Most High, we're going to suffer, man. We're going to be crushed. Go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. And that's bad. I see it upon the Israelites. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 33. We'll go to the last part of verse 33. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 33. The last precept. It says, thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed. That prophecy didn't come from Moses. They came from Yahweh power, the Most High. So from his throne, he had Moses to write this and tell the rebellious Israelites that if they didn't walk after him, you would only be oppressed. And there are people out here that are only oppressed. They're not prospered. They're probably get back on and get on their feet. No, they can't catch a break. There are people that can't catch a break. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that's going to see this and they're going to hear it and they're going to be like, that's me. They only oppressed in everything that they set their hand to do. No success, and they feel crushed. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 33. 28:33, the last precept. Got to go down to the bottom of it to see it. And thou shalt be only oppressed. No blessing, only oppressed. Nothing good come to you, only oppressed and crushed, depleted, no faith, no energy, no what is it when you have momentum, no zeal, no passion, no nothing, no get up, no fire, no intensity. That's nothing to even jumpstart you, not even a spark, and no help. How many times people come around you and say, I'm going to help you? Do you know what? Nobody come around me. Well, you brothers, what I need. But I'm saying, nobody come around me, so I'm going to help take you to a level where you ain't, a higher level. Oh, I see you dibbling down with this. Man, let me really show you how to get it. Let me show you how to be better than you are. That, the help that I get from brothers and sisters, that's extraordinary. I really appreciate that. I ain't talking about that type of help. And to take me under your wing, you're a millionaire, 6 figures, high 6 figures. Okay, show me how to stop playing with it. Because I'm hurting my hands and feet, getting splendors. I'm doing, I see people that's in despair. And I say, let me show you how to do better than what you're doing. Yeah, you are working too hard, but you're going about it the wrong way. The way I get it and got it is the way I'm telling you. First, you got to fear the Most High. Brother, I don't climb a ladder without saying, Lord, don't hurt me. I got to go up and change the light bulb. Because I know if I don't think about you for a moment, I can get up there. I can get up there and do the snake on that damn thing and end up on the floor. Excuse that language.
Because when we went up the ladder one time, you prayed, like, be you and Shaw. You say, hold on, let's take a minute. And then we went up the ladder.
Hey, that's real. That's real. Isaiah 30. Isaiah 30. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that take counsel but not of me, and that cover with a covering but not of my spirit. So we don't even act like the Lord. That they may add sin to sin. So adding sin to sin is like, okay, I'm doing this wrong, and then I'm going to do that wrong. We've already sinned against the Lord. Now I'm gonna do something else. No, we're supposed to halt. Yeah, we're supposed to halt, not continue to move on and keep sinning and keep going up. We're supposed to stop. Now this is what they're doing. That walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth. So they're living, but they're not listening to the prophets and servants that the Most High put in their lives around them. All right? They're not listening. That's asking from the mouth of the Most High, because the prophets of the Most High, the teachers of the Most High, all the different offices of the Most High, they're going to open up and say, this is what the Lord got to say about your situation. The scriptures is the mouth of the Most High. So that's very important. Israel dealing with Egypt. When Egypt does something that Israel don't like, they feel forsaken. I don't like these rules. I don't like this law. I don't like this. They take away health care. They take away insurance. They take away all these different things. They take away the SNAP assistance. They raise the prices on everything. but you don't ask the mouth of the Most High, because the mouth of the Most High come with restrictions. That's the strat gate. The Most High only bless those that are living in the straightness of His ways, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Egypt. Let's see. In the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust. So now they're trusting in the shadow of Egypt. Well, Egypt is oppression, and they trust in the shadow of Egypt, meaning they trust in Egypt is going to provide for them. They're going to send out food. They're going to send out water. They're going to send out bread. They're going to send out education. This is all we need. They're going to give us housing. Is Israel a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? Because we have forsook the living water. That's the book of Isaiah. Are we still in Isaiah? Therefore, here's the point. Therefore, shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame. So everything that you thought he would support you in, now it's a shame to you because you relied on somebody that did not sustain you. And the trust in the shadow of Egypt, your confusion. So now let's go back. It wasn't Isaiah. I'm sorry. I was conflicted in myself. It's Jeremiah 2. We don't have to go there, but I just wanted to clarify. It's Jeremiah 2. I was thinking Isaiah 2. Jeremiah 2 and 13 and 14 is what I was referring to. Okay. Uh, so Esther chapter 8 and verse 14. Is that where we stop? Is that where we stop? 14? So the posts, so they rode upon mules, camels, went out and hastened, impressed by the king's commandment, and the decree was given at Shushan the palace. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor, and in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and the decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, and a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. So, what do you think it means by they became Jews?
I said more so like started behaving like this. Like,
Right. They begin to follow, you know, follow us and want to be like us. Now that's something to want to be like us. They respected our behavior. Yeah. They respected our behavior, our lifestyle, how we carried ourselves. Is the way that we carry ourselves now respectable? Many of us, a lot of people, no, it's not respectable. It's disrespectful. At work today, I was listening to some old school rap, and I heard the guys talking about thug life, and I kept wondering, like, why they, why, what do they love about, thug life? Because to me, I guess I was kind of thinking, like, is it gang activity, or, is it the stuff that's, you're gonna get killed? I don't know. Believe it or not, that thug life was in the era when I was a young man. Those guys brought that stuff up and out. Well, so then as I listened a little bit closer and I kind of figured it out. What is the thug life? So these people there wanted to be Jews,
Right.
but people, the nations, don't want to be thugs. I know we get some of the uh, some people that try to mimic, but being a thug is not something that is greatly praised like Israel was, to where people wanted to be like the Jews. So, what, in your opinion, what do you think the thug life is?
Like pop era, or just the only type. Thug life was like you make the rules.
Thug life, you make the rules. Okay, maybe you was a thug. Was you a thug? Like, yeah, we made the rules.
I was ruthless, but I wasn't a thug.
You was ruthless.
That's a difference.
You was ruthless,
I
man.
wasn't a thug.
Who'd you marry, Jazz? He was ruthless. He's, he's like this, bum. Thug life, baby. Who don't nobody want to be like? Okay, somebody else, your opinion. Say they make the rules. Well,
Like
maybe it's bad because y'all guessing at a era that y'all didn't live in. Cause y'all ain't thugs, man. Y'all grew up on the good side of the river.
what's the good side?
Hey, you know what they used to call the good dudes, the county.
Oh yeah.
If you was from county, then people thought you was soft. Cause remember how I told you I grew up, it was rough. Man, it was so rough. I left the city to avoid getting killed, and I didn't have no beef with nobody. It was just, it was just terrible. There was some good stuff, but boy, there was really venomous snakes. These niggeros was terrible. They will snake you, boy. They was killers. So maybe, but you can still give it a shot. Now I ain't saying that you're wrong. You're not wrong. They do make their own rules. Yeah, that might be it.
I was gonna say, honestly, in my opinion, and it's growing up when I used to see guns, they used to be causing chaos, just hanging out in the wrong areas or whatnot.
like walk around them and stuff like that. So that's why I say menace.
Yeah, menace. You can't walk around them. Yeah, it was some streets, man. You can't even drive down those streets. They'll shoot you up. Dwight grew up on that street. That was it. The Bud. They called it the Bud. It was terrible. You, I'm sure they probably let people drive down, but if you was in a age group and you was to come over there hanging, or you gonna drive slow like you looking, rat a tat tat. We don't know you.
Yeah, you could drive. That bad.
These days, though.
You could drive through. You gotta-
You can drive through now.
You could drive through. You just gotta mind your business. Even then, when we was coming up, you just mind your business. That's it. Straight up.
Hey, who's I was listening to somebody who's talking about somebody. Oh man, what is this rap group? I think it was NWA talking about, was it Snoop or Dre? They only start trying to bang once they brought a treaty out. Real motherfucking G. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Easy E.
Real Copper City G.
Yeah, he said that Dre started banging. He started claiming and banging after the treaty, after they brought out the treaty. So what made me think about that was you saying that, yeah, you could drive down there. As boy, during the time I came up, brother, I never drove down that street. But you're not going over there. Because I'm telling you, they literally look and see if you their age group, then you shouldn't come on this street. That's called sack claiming. They was possessive, man. They will shoot you. Now, if they see a old man or an old woman, they know, okay, that person, they ain't got nothing to do with our business. Oh yeah, they were really lost.
This area, they're a kid, but it's for a reason. And it's for the kid just because.
Hey, we was walking from Beaumont to track practice. They ran some cats up off there like, hey, where you from? Man, he walked and followed us all the way. Ran. Hey, I did that before. Like walk with pace.
Well, hey,
Yeah, see, that was a different era though. That was a whole different era. Yeah, that era was different. Like I was an adolescent during that time, and my brother he was caught up in that, and it was hard for my mother to control him. So it was more of an era like I don't give a hell. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna get rich quick by selling drugs. I don't have to work no normal job, and I'm gonna make a lot of it. And that's what I saw. Like that type of mindset. Like who gonna stop me?
yeah.
So,
So what you said, bud, that's like the number one. Without laws and without rules, and I do what I want to do, and I make it up as I go along. That's the thug life, baby.
Fear tactic. Want people to get afraid.
Yeah. So I think that people like that, young men like that, are boys, because we know that we the men now, and then you got young men, so those are boys. Trust me. 18, 19, 20 years old, you ain't a little boy or a young boy, but you're a young man. You man, scriptures call you a man at 20, so I'll give it that, a young man. So those young men, I believe that something mentally is wrong with them because they commit murders, they injurious. You know what that is, right? The root word is what? Injury. So remember they had the thing called the knockout game? knockout, just hitting people. Yeah, just hitting people to be doing it, to see if you could, and they could fight just to see if they could knock you out. Because that came after I grew up.
And by the time I grew up, they stopped because I think somebody tried to knock out an old man and killed him. Cool. And then that's why they really start coming down on knockout people. Can't just swing on nobody no more. They're trying to give you jail time.
Now it's to the point to where you try to swing on somebody, you're gonna get shot.
Yeah, now it's done.
Yeah, you see how it escalated. It was prohibited for young men to carry firearms. You got caught with a firearm, you going to jail. They'll give you a case. You didn't even know. You didn't even know that you can possess a firearm legally. You didn't even know that. And they was giving out jail time for something that you have a right to do. So I believe that they then made it public because they themselves, their sons and daughters were getting caught. That's how the same thing they did with marijuana. Marijuana, when I was I was a little boy, and you playing That's My Car, this, that, and the third. So the OGs at the time, one thing that Israel got is we got finesse, we got class, we know how to do it. The generation today, they addicted to speed, and that's why they get the fast cars, but they're not really showing that they descend from a generation of classy people that came before them. We literally put our spirit in. Oh, you see some of the cars that I be sharing, those old antique cars and things like that. They was antique then when I was a child, right? But we took the cars and put our money into those cars like that. Rims, paint, interior, upholstery, music, all of that. I mean, you would see them cars rolled around and drove up and down the street. Yeah, man. Fairground and Forest Park. Oh man. Forest Park was like spring break every Sunday. You didn't have to go out of town. Bumper to bump. It would be from the park all the way down Goodfellow across Martin Luther King. Real story. Remember the Fresh Prince? He made that song "Summertime." He was saying bumper to bumper, 2 miles an hour. That's how fast. That's how slow you would just have to drive, and you would just enjoy the ride. Go all the way down, loop through the park. By the time you loop through the park, turn around and come back down, that was enough for you.
They be connected as far as that I can see. Nice looking cars, long white Cadillacs, everything. I remember swear by it.
I had a Cadillac so clean. So clean, so fresh and so clean. Had a phone in it. When I started up, that sucker go, you think you was in somebody's executive office.
Exactly.
Yeah.
First phone inside a Jaguar. Picked it up and worked in it.
Picked it up and worked. Yeah.
House on one car.
Yes, sir. That's what it was. But don't nobody want to be like that. So we had all this talk. Don't nobody want to be like us now. Because when we show those attributes of lawlessness and recklessness and predators and knocking people's out and killing people and high, what they made their own concoction called syrup. Now they bending over. They ain't even dead. Look like they tying over their shoes. Lean. Xylem. Okay. Okay. So They don't want to be like that. So we pointed, I'm glad we had this conversation because that shows you that these people that they wanted to be like were so impressionable that nations wanted to be like them and not like what we are being able to, where we can identify all this stuff that we claim. So don't want to be like that. Don't want to do those things like that. Don't feel like that. Be the opposite. Now, even our women, see, our women, you have to put the modesty back into your life. You got to put the humility back in your life. You got to get yourself back in line with the Most High. Modesty, I said that. Chase conversation, stuff like that. What is chase conversation? It's talking about minus the lasciviousness, the spirit of lasciviousness, minus that. So if women can cleanse their minds of that, then they'll put some clothes on and they won't be concerned about who can see their shape, their body, and stuff like that. Because the nations, they exploit that. They make money off of you with doing that. Even designing clothes, they make money off of you. So Israel, we got to return back into the Father, and we can be the people that people want to be like. We should be known for our righteousness, even through the struggle. You know what the struggle is? The day-to-day fight that each and every last one of us have to fight, and we have to endure. Don't show them the struggle. Show them the application of the scriptures. Show them the Holy Spirit in you. The struggle, that's on you. Get that. Let's see. Romans 14. Romans 14 and 22. It says, hast thou faith? I'll wait for you, Bond. The book of Romans, chapter 14 and verse 22. Hast thou faith? Have it to thyself before God. So faith is something that we believe in. And oftentimes the things that we believe in, even though they are unseen, we work passionately to accomplish certain things. And that work can become a struggle because it's a game of patience, or not so much a game, but it's a process of patience and elimination and humility and prayer and fasting and waiting, asking the Most High, watching unto prayer. And that struggle. But why show you that? Hast thou faith? Have it to thyself before God. But the light, the things that we know to do, let that shine. Let your good works shine before the Most High, that they may see your good works and glorify the Father. Because when they glorify the Father, now they have somebody to mimic, somebody to gravitate to, somebody to walk like. Okay? So let's go back to the book of Esther. Try not to be discouraged. Do the best that you can do at what you're doing. fin less and sin less, and hold your head up. It's a long way. You guys got a long way to go. Constantly persevere, constantly endure. Okay. Esther chapter 9 and verse 1. And in the 12th month, that is the month of Dar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew nigh to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them, that hated them. The Jews gathered themselves together in the cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as saw their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people, because they were unified. And all the rulers of the provinces, and the lieutenants, and the deputies, and officers of the king helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. Now, in verse 3, you see all of these people helping Israelites. But they're helping Israelites. The Most High is allowing them to help Israel because Israel was keeping the commandments. Okay. Verse 4. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. That's beautiful. That's what we want to do. Mordecai is an Israelite. We want to wax greater and greater, stronger and stronger. How do you do that? Applying the scriptures, keeping the commandments, walking the walk that's appointed to you. Mordecai lived all of his life just being Mordecai and being righteous. He didn't seek this. But the Father saw his humility and his love for what's right. And someday the Most High, one day the Most High just decide while Israel was going through something to utilize him and help him become greater than he was. And showed him. He gave him things that he didn't ask for. So let's not focus on materialistic things. Let's focus on the righteousness of the Most High and obtaining the kingdom of the Most High. In order to get the kingdom of the Most High, the scriptures say we got to desire discipline. So you got to learn how to have self-control over your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your habits. You got to learn how to have self-control over those things. And when you have self-control over those things, that is the discipline that the Most High say will bring you to the kingdom. But before you even get to the kingdom, on your way, the Most High is going to drop the jewels and the gems and the things to show you that the stuff that you've been doing, he sees it, and it's a good job well done. But everybody goes through humbling. That's right. It's many of you don't know your future. You're going to get greater and greater, and you don't foresee it. You don't foresee it. You don't know. All you doing is going day to day. Now, I'll let you figure this part out. And don't show by no show of hands enough. Which one of you are after the will of the Lord, and which one of you is concerned about what you're going to eat and what you're going to put on, and etc. Because if you're concerned about that, then you're distracted from the righteousness of the Most High. You're more concerned about the righteousness of the Most High than the righteousness of the Most High. It may be. Because Mordecai didn't ask to be in the king's house, ask for the king's ring, ask to be greater than anybody else. He didn't ask for that. Solomon didn't ask for those things. David didn't ask for those things. A lot of men that have success with dealing with God didn't ask for anything. They was just concerned about what's right and what's wrong and seeking out those things and wanting to help. And the Lord said, I'm going to show you that I do care about what you're doing. And here is an incentive for doing it. And once you get it, you're still not going to mind it, or what we used to call studying. You still ain't going to study it. Thank you. But the most important thing is going to be the Lord. Matthew 6. Matthew 6 and verse 21. All praises. Matthew 6. Excuse me, digging my eyes and stuff, guys. Matthew 6 and 21. For where your heart is. This is not intentional to attack or for me to say my perspective of the choices that we're choosing. I'm just examining Mordecai, how Mordecai was content just hanging out, being by the gate, whatever that was like. And now look at his position and look at everything that the Most High put him on. He put him on to where he was known all over the world. And he got greater and greater. So how do I instill this perspective into our minds? It's my job to tell you. The scriptures say the Christ, yesterday, today, and tomorrow forever. The Most High say he's the same. He changed not. So if he's the same and he changed not, and we serve the same angel, or we serve the Most High and follow the Christ, that's what I'm intending to say. It's my job to tell you that you can be great and you can watch greater and greater. Don't look at where you at now. Man, I'm working this little job and I got this and that. I don't look at it from that angle. My first house I stayed in, it didn't have utilities on. Didn't have hot water. Didn't have a job. But I separated myself from sin. And the only thing I wanted to know was what was right. I understood a lot was wrong. Show me what's right so I can continue to fish through and differentiate the difference. And I chose the discipline over the pleasure. and things that I felt was out of reach and I could never obtain, the Lord always gave it to me. God is amazing. I will not sit here and tell you that you can't be greater than you are. I will not. I will not sit here and think that you're going to diminish or you're not going to make it. I know you will. If your mind is not in the right place, then put it in the right place. If you worrying or worrying or stressing, I was trying to say stressing about surviving, stop stressing about surviving and be content, but serve the Lord and put Him first. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So what does that mean? That means that your mind is on the most important thing to you. And the men that I spoke about, their most important thing was the Most High. My most important thing was the Most High. I don't know why, but it was. I came out of the world off the streets and had everything and walked away from it. Lost it, walked away from it, and didn't care. I can't say how. It was just a choice because I believe. So I chose to have faith and chose to believe, and then went on a mission to continue to get better at doing what the scriptures say doing. And the Lord was like, I will not forget you. And if He did it in scriptures and I'm alive saying that, hey, He did it for me, it would be an injustice to tell you, not to tell you that He could do it for you. Stop reading this. Well, you're reading the scriptures, but you can't really, if you don't see or hear what's in front of you, you're still looking. And their time period and frame, that was for them. And this time period and frame, the Lord has given me was for me, and say, hey, utilize this. And He's going to give you in your time period, in your time frame, what's for you. And it's going to be acceptable. But you got to have your mind after Him. And don't be the vessel that says, why has the powder created me thus? Because you going through this, or you got to go through that, or you have, or you don't have this, or you don't have that. Don't be like that. Mordecai waxed greater and greater when he didn't expect anything. Stop expecting anything but the Spirit. Lord, you say if I fear you, you say if I obey you, you say if I sacrifice, you say if I apply and keep the commandments, that you're going to help me, because the most important thing is your mind. Your spiritual mental health matters. That's why we're all here, because we care about how we think. We care about how we feel. We're thinkers, guys. And those that are not here, not saying the assembly that couldn't make it, but the Israelites that trust in Egypt, they're not really concerned about, like the girl that killed the guy, she shot the dude and killed the baby. She wasn't thinking. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't want to say what she care and what she don't care about, because she'll say she do. But the sister wasn't thinking to blow two people's heads off. And all she got to say is, he was a narcissist. She wasn't thinking. She's thinking now. Okay, let's get back. We'll finish this chapter and try to get through 10. And then Say the rest for Sabbath because we got 3 amazing days coming up where we're celebrating where the Most High definitely delivered and came through. And we'll be all praises to the Most High. We'll be ahead in our lessons. What's important though, when we take the time to comb through these scriptures, guys, you guys got to retain it. Miss Tina, you sent that text. Can we teach that guy so he can go out and he can teach these guys or those teachers? Of course, we teach anybody that can. But you look the level of retaining this, it takes sacrifice and discipline your mind to really pay attention. You got to take good notes and you got to believe in it. And you got to live through it. You got to go through it. There's no reason why you guys cannot teach this lesson. You got to be well-rounded. You are here. That's a sacrifice. We're going through this slow like this. We're talking about a lot of different aspects of it to help us to understand what they went through and how does it correlate throughout life for us, even in different generations. We're not just reading through it, gibber, and then you don't understand. If you're not understanding, you're not paying attention. And then guess what? Once you get that visual of it, you're taking time out to come together and feast. Trying to enact or depict like how they celebrated or what it was all about. Stuff like that. You are the teachers of this, man. Please don't just sit here and don't know who the people were, what it signified, what it meant, all these different things you got. If it falls on deaf ears, the people perish. We keep thinking that the vision that we got to have is the vision for us. What about wanting to Kwam Yasha Allah? Get thee, Ezekiel, get thee to them of the captivity. But you ain't getting. If you can't have the vision, those people going to perish. You got to teach them. Because they foolishly, ignorantly, and to them innocently, they feel innocent to celebrate the 4th of July, Thanksgiving. And those are things that were against us. You seen Central America, South America, even though, which one of them days where we used to take time out to show the land of Israel and to show the Central Americas and to show the seas and all of that stuff? We used to sit down in the basement and have class in there and show it on TV, show the sceneries. Y'all, anybody remember? You remember? You do? Show Israel, show what the land and stuff look like. Okay, you ever saw, what is that? Sometimes I think so fast I can't. Geographic, what's the name of that show? National Geographic. I want to cry. It shows the world and all that, right? The one, yeah, man. Do you not know they took that from the tribes of Israel? They took North Central South America from the tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel, we so huge, man. We look like 12 nations. There's no way that you can fit. The Lord said if you could count the sands of the sea, you're going to be able to number your descendants. That's why they was over here. So all of those people living in Jerusalem, they going to fit. So they had this part. They had this part of the world. So just imagine them, our brothers, and us being able to travel to and fro through any city with passage without any problem or anything. Green light, live, fish, hunt, build, stay, vacation, all that stripped from us. And then we're going to celebrate it, eating turkey and dressing. But they don't know. And so whatever words that God will give to you to help one see it, that one person can rise up and now be a help and an extension and go out and teach and speak to another one. And that one raise up. You see, that's why we got to retain this, man. That's how important it is. The whole need not a physician. Sometimes we be concerned about, let me go with scriptures with, let me say, Nahum. Nahum taught. He got it. I mean, he's still growing, and so am I. Ain't sure you, but he's going to get it through situations like this. But I went after a guy who had no hope at all. Bottom empty. Let me help you, friend. Let me help you. Let me show you God, the God of the Bible. I don't know where I'm going to start, but he going to lead me to it. Something I didn't say, I told him, I said, don't hurt me and I ain't going to hurt you. I said that to him. The reason is because a person like that, it may be dangerous. They got nothing to live for. They got no hope. They're in despair. They bottomed out. Everybody's dead. He said, I'm on the earth by myself. I don't even have a woman. So I'm not, as a brother and a man of the Lord, I'm not going to spiritually hurt you. I'm not going to emotionally hurt you. I'm not going to portray you. I won't give you a reason to have aught against me. You won't say, oh, this guy tripped. I'll be there for you. You just call. And if it's if it's within my power, I'm going to show you God. I'm going to show you the Christ. If it's within my power and if it's within my means, because it's within my will. But the whole need not a physician. I don't know if we're going to make it. Okay. Verse 2, the Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout the provinces of the king Ahasuerus to lay hands on such that sought to hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell on all, blah, blah, blah. And all the verse 3, all the rulers of the province as lieutenants, we read that. Verse 4, Mordecai was great, he watched greater and greater. Verse 4, we read that. Verse 5, the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they could unto those that hated them. Okay, the water started verse 6 because you won't stop.
And in Shushan the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And Parshandatha and Dalphon and Aspatha and Poratha and Adaliah and Aradatha and Parmishta and Arasiah and Aradiah and Vajezatha, the 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they. But on the spoil laid they not their hand. On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king. And the king said unto Esther the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace. and the 10 sons of Haman, what have they done in the rest of the king's province? Now, what is thy petition, and it shall be granted thee? And what is thy request further, and it shall be done? Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according unto this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. And the king commanded it so to be done. And a decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan. But on the prey they laid not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives, and had rest from their enemies, and slew of their foes 75,000. But they laid not their hands on the prey. On the 13th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. But the Jews that were at Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th thereof, and on the 15th day of the same day rested, and made it a day of feasting and gladness. Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and sending portions one to another. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters unto all the Jews that were in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly, as the days wherein they rested from their enemies, and the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joy, and from mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions one to another, and gifts to the poor. And the Jews undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them. Because Haman the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had advised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast pur, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that this wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Wherefore they called these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore all the words of this letter, and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained, and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they should keep these 2 days according to their writing, and according to their appointed time every year. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, and every city, and that these days of Purim should not fail from among the Jews, nor the memorial of them perish from their seed.
So one thing it says that it should not fail, that it should not pass. So we should not sit up and let the feast of Purim, the days of Purim pass, and we not acknowledge them. Why? Because it's a time of deliverance. You see, nobody skips Thanksgiving. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 29. Then Esther the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai the Jew, wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. And he sent the letters unto all the Jews to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus.
Hold up. So we're in Esther chapter 9, verse 31. Esther 9:31. Okay, go ahead.
To confirm these days of Purim in their times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined it, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed the matters of the fasting and the cry. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book. Chapter 10 and 1. And the king Ahasuerus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and of his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, whereunto the king advanced him. Are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Media and Persia? For Mordecai the Jew was next unto the king Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace to all his seed.
Wow, right. So why was he now we said this before, so you can just get the answer from the past class. Why was he second next to the king? Bun?
Because normally Haman was there, but since Esther inherited, she gave the crown to Mordecai.
Mm-mm. Cora?
Because because Mordecai, when the two guards had told when two guards was gonna set up the king, Mordecai told him.
Right. Because he told him, also known as saving his life. And when somebody save your life like that, then that person is trusted. So you would want that person, right there. Okay. Um, and it's also a good thing. What's the other advantage that he had with that seat being next to the king? What's the other advantage? Okay. What's the other advantage that the king will have?
King will,
Huh?
I would say support from the Most High.
Support from the Most High.
Explain.
That's the main thing there. But it's something else. You guys forgetting. You got to think. What advantage would it prosper the king to have Mordecai there?
The wisdom of Mordecai?
Well, that's good too. But I'm thinking,
He's gonna keep saving.
no. I'm thinking, remember, like Esther. So now they're kindred. Because it's like they're in-laws now. He married Esther, his wife. That's her cousin.
Right.
So now that's family. Well, you know anything like that? That's family now. So that it all work out. He trusts him with the kingdom. He trusts him with his life. And now he know he can. He trusts him with the kingdom. He raised a superb. You understand? Esther, his wife. He loved Esther. He know that. Mordecai, man. Yeah, he's in a good position, and Ahasuerus got a good guy out of all the people. Just like y'all seen Yellowstone, right? So what was the dad's name? I don't know. So this is a trick question. But so remember the relationship that, what's the son's name? What's the son-in-law name? Was it Flip?
Rip.
Rip. So remember the relationship that the guy had with Rip?
Yeah, John Dutton,
John Dutton,
and then Rip.
and then Rip. He trusted John. He trusted him because that was his daughter's
Yeah.
husband. He trusted him with everything. See that relationship? Right. I told Nava to watch the movie.
Yeah, he gave her everything.
You didn't watch it, did you? You need to watch it.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah, he still ain't saw it. Okay, so that's it. So guys, we'll finish. We'll go into the Apocrypha and get the rest of the books of Esther from there. And we in good shape. We're going Matthew 26.
Matthew 26:6. Now when Christ was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahweh understood it, he said unto them, watch up either woman, for she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with me, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burden. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, thus shall also this that this woman hath done be told for memorial of her. So we give all praises to the Most High Yahweh for giving a sister Mary a broken and contrite heart to come and comfort Christ for his birth.
All right. So I'll bow our heads. Your Heavenly Father, in the name of the Christ, we'd like to thank you, Father, for being our God and showing us you. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to continue to be a lamp and light into our feet. Give us direction, always to go. We ask you, Lord, to take us home and button us in and keep us safe. We ask you, Lord, to bless those that weren't able to make it. And if any out there sick, we ask you, Lord, to rise them up. Those that call in or text in for prayer, ask you, Lord, to also remember them and heal them with their word or instructions and whatever medications or herbs that they may take and that they may need. We ask you, Lord, to be over those things and provide the proper healing abilities and properties that it's supposed to do. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to continue to teach us to lift you up and always be with us. We ask you, Lord, to hear the prayers that we send unto you morning, noon, and evening, and all throughout all the day, and strengthen our faith by blessing us and strengthen our spirit so that we can walk in you. These things, Father, in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, guys, that's it. All right, Israelite saints got to go. Sacrifice bless. Good night. Thank you, Leah.
You're welcome.
All right, saints. Yeah, good night to all. Sacrifice bless.
Nice.
Shalom, good night.
Oh no, yeah. Cool. He got space. You got like a ride with.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Shalom.
Yeah, we'll see about that.